Hello and welcome to my channel Champagne and Stitches. My name is Sarah and this is Flosstube number 3. So it's been a couple of weeks since I posted my whip parade, so I thought we would do an update today on the stitching that I've done. I have a finish for you, a new start, some works in progress and a little bit of haul. So let's start with our finish. This is from the Advent calendar, the Historical Sampler Company Advent calendar from 2023. And it is, as you can see, a snowman with, it's got some beading around it. It's quite a quick sew to finish. I love the beads on it. I think they really bring it to life. He's slightly lopsided. I'm afraid he's about one stitch this way, I think. But on the whole, very pleased with him. So you wouldn't have seen this in my whip parade because I actually finished stitching it a couple of days before I filmed the whip parade. But because I also didn't finish it until 2025, I didn't include it in the 2024 finishes. So that's my first finish for 2025 from the Historical Sampler Company 2023 Advent Calendar. So I have one new start since I showed you my projects, and that is from Cottage Garden Samplings, and it is part of the Fabulous House series. So I have started Santa's house, the first one. Why not start Santa's house in February? So this one, I actually have a few of them that I'm getting from Coffee Craft Fabrics, a few of the charts. I will get the whole set, but at the moment I think I'm up to number 5. And with Coffee Craft Fabrics, she's actually dyeing the fabric and sending that with the chart, and a little gift as well. So for this one, I think we had a little Santa's needle minder. So a little Santa's belt needle minder there to go along with the chart and the fabric. And I'm keeping this one in a project bag that I made myself. So this is from the Tula Pinks Besties range. And I thought, why not? They're in their houses. So perfect to keep the Fabulous House series in. So this is how far I have got. Haven't done very much on it yet. This is on a 28 count even weave and I'm using all called for DMCs, and there are a couple of classic colour works, sorry, trying to think of the word, classic colour works, Plymouth Rock for the roof and Ladybug, which is the sort of pinky red colour to fill the house in. So really enjoying how the pattern comes out of this one as you stitch. So that is my new start, and my aim is to start the first 4 of these this year, so one every quarter really. So I've got until sort of April, March time before I start the next one. So that is Santa's house from Cottage Garden Samplings, and as I said, on a 28 count even weave from Coffee Craft Fabrics. So let's go into my whips. My first whip has been my 30-minute stitch every day, which means that I stitch on it for 30 minutes before I pick up any other stitching, and I find that's really useful for projects that maybe I keep passing over and going to stitch something else, but I actually want to get progress on them. So for the first 2 weeks of February, I have chosen to stitch on Pandemic. So if you watch my whip parade, you would know that I was at 0.19% on this. So here I am now, and I think I'm on 1.67% now. So this is almost a page width, and then so far down the page, I'm not quite sure, but as I say, I'm only on 1.67 with this one at the moment. So I'm stitching this one on a 16 count Ada from Lakeside Needlecraft, and I'm using the rainbow silks from Silks for You. And what I'm really enjoying, and it's the first time I've had to do it, is just trying to work out what colour where I'm going to finish a thread and start a new thread. So for example, when I was working my way up through the bird, I would be trying to, if I'd say I'd finished on the sort of pinky to orange bit, I would try to find the next thread at that point and carry on from there. The only place I haven't managed to do that is just here, where there's quite a harsh line between the blue and the yellow, but I decided to keep it in because it's all a learning process. And this one's going to go away for a little while now while I stitch on something else, but I'm really pleased with the progress I made on that in the last couple of weeks. So that is Pandemic from Long Dog Samplers. So that was my first whip that I worked on. Make sure that doesn't fall. My second whip is in my Canny Little Fox home case project bag, and it is my Big Hearted Tiny Town. So no particular plans on stitching this one. It did come up actually as one of my whip go calls for February, and it came up from one of my whip go calls is draw 2 cards. So basically what I've done is I put 1 to 10 into a random selector because I have 10 whips, and it came up with number 9, which was this one, and then I respun and it came up with number 3. So that would be times that by 100, so 300 stitches, which I did. I got 300 stitches into this. So I will put up a photo of where I was with this one before I picked it up, and I've made quite good progress on it. I'm still missing Cherry Tomato. I still don't have Cherry Tomato in this one, which is why I've got some. This house I haven't stitched yet. I think there's some here. This house is also going to be Cherry Tomato, so hopefully I will get hold of that soon and I'll be able to fill in the gaps. This is on a 32 count Zweigart Belfast linen, and I'm using the called for Classic Colourworks and Week Dye Work flosses, and my needle minder on this one is from Kate Blanford, who you can find on Etsy. So that is Heart in Hand, Big Hearted Tiny Town. So my next whip is my stitch that I do when I'm in the car waiting to go into work. I work in schools, so obviously I can't go into the school. I do after school clubs. I can't go into the school until it's almost time for the club because still classes going on. So I tend to sit in the car and just wait until the time I can go in, and I like to have something to stitch on. So I am stitching Cottage Garden Samplings, the Peacock Pincushion. So that's this one, and I'm stitching this on 28 count even weave with a Coffee Craft fabric. Again, I got this as a kit from Coffee Craft Fabrics with the called for flosses, and she provides the fabric that she dyes. So here is the pattern. So it's going to be, mine's actually, I think this is stitched on, let me just have a look, 32 count. So mine's going to be a bit bigger than this, but I don't mind. I do enjoy Cottage Garden Samplings patterns. So this is my Peacock as far as I've got so far, and it's a really good one for the car actually, because there's quite a lot of blocks in it, block stitching or patterns, and so it's quite easy to not think too hard about where you're supposed to be going next. But this one is really coming on, so really pleased. Needle minder again from Coffee Craft Fabrics. So I've just started putting in this green here. The only fancy floss in this one is Weeks Dye Works Deep Sea, which is the dark blue on the body here. So that is my WIP Peacock Pincushion. Okay, so my next WIP is A Year at Hawk Run Hollow. So my aim, as I said previously in my WIP parade, will be to complete the block for the month, within that month. So the last time you saw this, I would have stitched, I think, most of the January block. I think I was just working in her skirt at the time, but I had most of the rest of the block done. So I have finished January and I'm now on the February block. So this one is here. So as you can see, that's the completed block of January, and now just starting, excuse the thread, just starting in the February block. It's quite hard to see on this fabric, which is 32 count Spindrift Cedar River linens, using the called for DMCs. It's quite pale actually, so the white is quite hard to see, but I think once you get the other colours into it, that isn't such of a problem. So I know although the white is going to be around the heart, just find the pattern, so it's going to be around the heart here. Actually there's a different colour in the middle, so I think that will stand out. So I sew on this one. I try to put a little bit in every single day on this one, and that's where I am. So hopefully next time I film, I should have finished the February block. Fingers crossed, but no promises. So that is A Year at Hawk Run Hollow by Carriage House Samplings. And then my final WIP that I've been working on is this one. This is Lola Crow's Greenhouse of Oddities. I'm sure you've seen it many, many times. So again, I didn't start this one when the sale started, the stitch along. So I did the Deadly Aquarium, and then when I finished that, I picked up this one to stitch before she announced her new sale, which she announced yesterday and is going to be based on birds. So the idea was to get this one finished. I'm not going to get this one finished before. So this is this one. Excuse the fact it's still in a hoop, but I've been working on it. Again, this is stitched on a Coffee Craft fabric. It's a 32 count even weave, and I'm using the called for DMCs. So I think the last time you saw this, and if I have a picture I'll try and put one in, the last time you saw it I was stitching up in the top of the greenhouse. So I've finished that part now, and I've worked my way down here. I am saving, so I've done everything at the top apart from the very top of this plant, which goes here, but I'm saving it because I actually want to go from the bottom up for that plant. So that's where we are with this one. So as I said, that is Lola Crow's Greenhouse of Oddities on a Coffee Craft fabric, 32 count even weave, with a sort of lovely pinky blue mottling. She doesn't name her fabrics, so you just sort of, I look for the colours that I like, using all the called for DMCs. And again, another needle minder from Kate Blanford on Etsy. So that was the last of my WIPs, my work in progress. So I've been working on 5 different things since I showed you my WIP parade. And I think I've made quite good progress on them, quite pleased with them. So my plans for the next couple of weeks will be to continue with Lola Crow's Greenhouse of Oddities. I'd quite like to get that to 30% before the end of the month, and then hopefully, so I think her new stitch along goes on pre-sale on the 1st of March, and stitching starts, so she releases the first pattern I think at the beginning of April. So I'd like to get Greenhouse of Oddities to about 40% before that stitch along starts, and then I can put it away because I have to concentrate on the new one at that point. I obviously want to finish the February block for Hawk Run Hollow, and then my whip go call for my second whip go call for February was actually for stitching, sorry that's stuck, stitching on a stitch along. So I've chosen to stitch on this one, which was the Forbidden Fibre Company 12-day, let me just check, I think it's called a 12-day Unexpected Journey mystery box. So it's based on The Hobbit, and I opened the flosses, so one floss every day for 12 days in between Christmas and 12th night. And I have stitched, so far I've started down here I think, and I've stitched up and along, and I'm around here now. So my aim for my whip go call is to sort of fill in the border and then just have the words left to do. So this one is going to become my 30-minute stitch in the morning before I start stitching on anything else. Now that I've done that with pandemic, this one will be for the next 2 weeks. So hopefully I will make good progress with that one. Obviously I will carry on with Santa's House. I'll carry on with the Peacock Pincushion. The Peacock Pincushion was actually a whip go call for me in January, and I wanted to get at least 500 stitches on it, which I did, was sort of from the head around to about here. But actually, in order to complete my whip go call, I want to not fully finish it, that would be ridiculous. I want to finish the stitching on it. So I want to carry on with that one. So I think that works out. Oh, and also to carry on with Big Hearted Tiny Town. So, and try and get that complete, except for the cherry tomato that I don't even have yet. So have to wait for that to come in. I have a little bit of haul for you as well. So I've talked about the historical sampler company, so the Snowman I showed at the beginning, and its sister company Cotton and Twine. And I do get the Cotton and Twine subscription box. Now this was the January subscription box, which I have no doubt that you have seen, but I just wanted to share what came in it. So it comes like this, and this was the January pattern. So stitching my way to happiness. And in here you get a colour copy and a black and white copy of the pattern. You get the hoop to finish it in. You get the floss, you get a needle, and you get your fabric. And then you also get some other little bits and bobs. Now, I've been desperate to open these, and now I can. So you get some, in this one I got some candy kittens, I got an Earl Grey tea bag. Again, you know what I think about Earl Grey. I'd like to have normal tea, please. And then a little Sparkling Fizz lip balm. So in there. So that was the January Cotton and Twine box, and I know now that the February one is currently available to order, and you go onto the website and you can actually see the pattern. It's an Easter pattern, if you want to subscribe to that. So that's the Cotton and Twine January box. I also was lucky enough to get onto the Black Needle Society subscription box, their Retreat in a Box subscription, which is a bi-monthly box. You have to go onto a waiting list, and then it takes quite a while to come through to actually for there to be spaces available, but I've just got onto it, so I'm excited. My first actual subscription box will be in March, but the January box, they had some extras, so I did purchase one of those, and I'm so pleased I did, because it's just gorgeous. It's called Purple Madness, and I've just pulled out a couple of things to share with you. I've no doubt you'll have seen unboxings of the whole box, but I've just pulled out a few of my favourite things. So you've got this project bag, so I stitched past my bedtime, which I thought was brilliant, and you got the fabric that came in it was Fiberlicious Lavender Haze, which absolutely beautiful purple fabric, and I have got mine in a 32 count linen. And then you got some, excuse the rustling, I should just take these out of the bag. Should have done this before. You've got some Night Stalkers Calling, you've got Purple Haze, Grape Jelly, and Amethyst. So they were just, the whole box was absolutely delightful. So they were some of the things that you got in it. And then the pattern was Caroline Manning. So this one, Violet Dream. So actually I really like that. I'll probably stitch that up. So that was just some of the things from the Purple Madness box, January box from the Black Needle Society. And I also picked up a couple of things from their vault. So I picked up the other three Stars Hollow patterns. So we've got Winter in Stars Hollow, Summer in Stars Hollow, and Spring in Stars Hollow. I've got the Autumn in Stars Hollow pattern. So I've got those. And this fabric, which is in my favourite colour. I can't get it out of the packet because it's stuck down. So this is Torrid from Picture This Plus, and I think it came in their, is it Nature and Elements box? So this is a Belfast linen in 32 count. And then the last thing that I got, this arrived yesterday, is another home case from Canny Little Fox in this beautiful William Morris print. So as my other one that I've shown you before, you have a zippered pocket, you have another pocket here, you have lots and lots of bits and bobs to tuck all your things away in, a couple of rings to keep flosses on, you pop your needles here, you've got sort of a floss bed here, and I think this one is absolutely beautiful. So this is from Canny Little Fox on Instagram, so check her out. She does some absolutely beautiful things. So that is my Flosstube update. Today is February the 16th, so hopefully I will be back in a couple of weeks to tell you what I've been stitching. But until then, thank you for watching. Do all the things, like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you've been stitching recently, and I will see you soon. Bye.